Eats strategy for breakfast is a famous quote from legendary management consultant Peter Drucker. To be clear, he didn't mean that strategy was unimportant, rather that a powerful and empowering culture was a surer route to the organizational success of any company. I would like to start with the real-life example from my professional experience. The year 2012, I worked as the deputy GM in foreign retail chain in Azerbaijan, Baku. We had approximately 400 people working and serving 2,000 customers every day in 10 of our stores. I was sure that the real success of the company depends on the quality of communication of 400 staff with 2,000 customers. But there was a problem. I couldn't control each instance of interaction. There was an important thing for me in this communication. Imagine a situation. During one of my visits to one of our stores, I saw that a young man was trying on shoes. I approached young man, knee in front of him, helped him with the size and served him until he left the store. It was crucial for me that my team members in their contacts with the customers behave in the same way. How can I be sure on such an approach to customer if I have 400 different people? I cannot place 400 cameras in my stores. Even placing these cameras, I can't watch each communication of these 400 people with thousands of my customers. What is the solution? I thought that actually it's very simple. Hiring people with the inner camera who will by default behave as I expect. Culture eats strategy for breakfast, told Peter Drucker. What is the relation between culture, strategy, and my example above? Culture loves to chew on people too. Here comes a person full of reforming enthusiasm. A year has passed and you look and this person is same as everyone around in the company. Once he dreamt of converting bureaucracy into entrepreneurship, and now he has unraveled the bureaucracy. He demands reports on the number of entrepreneurial ideas. Culture ate him as the result. Any perfect strategy can be eaten by culture of the company. However, a strong culture can also have the very opposite effect. For example, a lazy person enters the culture of workaholism and enthusiasm. A year has passed and now the person is already working at the weekends. Nothing can be done. Culture is always stronger than people. What is culture and what it consists of? Culture is actually a set of values and priorities shared by the majority of employees and determines why and in what form the company operates. It is these values that determine how an employee thinks at his workplace, what choice he makes in a given situation, what decision they make, and what the reasoning of this decision is. The great difference between strategy and culture, in fact, is very simple. Strategy on paper, culture is in reality. You can see and read the strategy, but never see the culture. You can only feel the culture in the company. It is the culture of the company that determines the execution and implementation of any strategy, operational and tactical plans, and the achievement of the goals. The simplest example, the strategy of any company says that the most valuable capital of the company is customers, and all processes are aimed at the customer satisfaction. It's on paper, written on paper, And if in fact all department heads do not have such value internally, and if they can't interact with each other to facilitate the procedures for the clients, customers, but they fight each other to expand the spheres of influence, then the strategy of the company will never be applied. What we have and what is the result? We have the perfect strategy on paper and very poor culture. So strategy is not implemented and culture eats the strategy, as Peter Drucker told. The very important thing about culture is it's something to be managed. Actually, everything in business needs to be managed. Anything that is not managed is not left unmanaged. If the leader of the company doesn't manage the culture, then other leaders, the informal leaders and opinion makers among employees will manage it, or various subcultures will be formed in the company. Culture is the soul of the company that no one can take away from us, the management of the companies. Strategy can be stolen, culture cannot be stolen. Nobody can even copy the culture, because the core of the culture are the values. So now we came to the most important part of the culture, values of the company. What are the values? How can we define them? Values are what is called indispensables for you. Company values and core values or standards that guide the way you do business. They sum up what your business stands for, influences the organizational culture, and drives how and why you do all things. While business plans and strategies may change, the core values of your business will usually remain the same. They don't change. Values are the system in which you exist. They dictate what to do and what to avoid. A clear set of values allows you to check yourself before each and every action. I would like to give one example from the international business, namely Ritz-Carlton hotels chain. Candidates in this hotels chain are tested not only on sales skills, but also on cultural compatibility, and on the person's desire to provide service, what the Ritz calls passion for service. According to Mr. John Timmerman, the Vice President of Excellence Programs, an ideal candidate for the Ritz is someone who, in addition to their professional skills, also has a unique personal quality. Very important sentence: a natural smile that appears in the process of service. Natural smile. No need to make a pressure on people to smile every time they contact with the customer. The values of each employee should coincide with the values of the company. When you select like-minded people, then you don't have to waste time convincing them to behave as you expect. What happens if there are not declared and managed corporate values? If a company doesn't have values, each employee will act on the basis of their individual value system, based on their life experience and vision, and very dangerous situation will be as a result. 400 persons in the company means 400 visions, points of view, thoughts, behavior models, and standards and values. Why do we need values in our companies? What is the importance of values for the business? Values are, first of all, time savers. When you select like-minded people, then you don't have to waste time convincing them to behave differently or as you want. Values are the best and the most reliable and the most long-term criteria in recruitment. You choose people with the same values, and we come to the next advantage. Values are guarantee that each customer is served at the best possible level, since you hire people with the passion to serve by default. Values are protecting business against poisonous people. Values support top managers to stay away from micromanagement, and last but not least, values are the best chemistry for the team among team members in the company. Values and team. What is the team? A team is the definition of team is it's a group of people who complement each other and work for the same goal and outcome. Team chemistry is the result of shared values. Everybody who works more than 3 years in any company becomes the carrier of values and culture of this company. And entering a new team and company, first what the person does is unpacking their culture language, which consists of social norms and values of the previous company. And if there is no strong and managed culture in the company, there is a risk that newcomers will form and manage some kind of their own subculture in the company. What should we do with our values? First, we must define them. Define values which are indispensable for you. You cannot do without them, and they are of utmost importance to you. Second stage is divided into two directions. What should you do with the new team members, and what you must do with those who are already working in your team, are part of your team? What to do during recruitment is clear. The only thing that I want to add is my 5R formula. Right person, right adaptation, right motivation, right training, and right control. Everything in the business starts with recruiting the right person. What should the management do after defining the values for their companies? First article is that you have to explain them one by one. Be extremely patient with this. Identify those who are against the values and be more patient with them. There should not be untouchables in team related to the declared values, and do it yourself. You must be the first and the strongest implementator of the values. The behavior of management should match their declarations and values. Who is responsible for the values and culture in the company? What is the code of success? Only and only top management of the company, since the main function of the head of the company is the creation and maintenance of the organizational healthy culture. I know a lot of companies in our country with perfect strategies, perfect on paper, with declared values, but reality is different. They declare respect, sincerity, perfect service, and commitment to customers, but the reality is completely different. Leader creates and manages culture, and only after that the culture manages the company. The implementation of the values is, frankly speaking, story of dedication. Story of dedication of the top management to the long-term and sustainable development of the company. And in the end, I want to say that in modern business world, competition among companies is not only with products and prices. It is also the competition on the management styles, and in my strong opinion, the best is what I call management based on values. Thank you very much for your attention.